Shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom, family. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us this morning to chase stuff away. For Ray Hope Jr., Z is our Moray. My name is Yukanan Ben Yah, and I got my big brother, the big homie G Ak. Come off, Mike. Introduce yourself, big brother. Go ahead.
Shalom, everybody. All praises, man. Your man, Sukkah bin Maccabees. Glad to be here on this beautiful Shabbat.
Yup. That's the big homie G. That being said, we're going to get into the lesson. I was talking to my brother last night, and I said, I don't think I'm going to be long, but then I looked at the scriptures, so potentially I might be long. That being said, I see in the chat, I was going to ask if we can be heard. We sound crisp and clear. Can you please put a 1 in the chat? Put a 1 in the chat, family. Put a 1 in the chat. Okay, I see the one starting to populate the chat. Before we get into this, big brother, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Little stuffy nose for the first time in a few years, but a little stuffy nose. But all is well, man. I can't complain. Most High's been so told to us.
All praises. And I see man, that thing making the rounds. I say, okay. Yeah, I'm still in a downturn on my end, but all praises. Yeah, we're going to get through it. Everybody going to get through it healthy and well. With that being said, let's get into the shout-outs, man. I'm not even going to front. I saw, before we even got started, it was mad people up in the building. Of course, first one to come in, wipe their feet off at the door, as usual, from the land of the 12 herbs and spices. We got our dear Sister Miriam. Welcome, Sister Miriam. Thank you. We saw Sister Sadie was also up in the building, beat us here this morning. Hey, my nephew, I'm proud of you, young warrior. Proud of you. Remember, when you know nothing else to do, just stand. You're in the right place, nephew. We had a great conversation earlier this week. Called me and gave me some edification. And I'm taking heed to what he said and working on some stuff. Because brother trying to be a lot less of me to love in the near future, so I can be more able to serve in the near future. But shout out to my nephew, the young warrior, aka Maggity, aka Majesty. Definitely up in the building. Shalom to the elders. Now, I don't know if that's if Aunt Diddy is nearby. Maybe she's down later in the chat. But I do know that's Aunt Nancy. And I believe that Uncle Scrap is nearby. We love you. Shalom to the true elders. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the words of admonishment and encouragement that you impart to us every time that you get to speak. With that being said, shout out to the elders. My sister Cece up in the building. What's up, sis? Had a good time talking with you last night, laughing and giggling. Yeah, we had a good time last night. We dealt with some matters, but aside from that, it was fun, and we had a great conversation, and we were laughing and giggling. So, yeah, it caused me to probably stay up later than I wanted to in preparation for the day, but it was good seeing my sister, my brothers, and stuff like that, and so it was all a blessing. Shout out to my niece. It was good seeing her yesterday, too. Rihanna, putting in that work, and I'm going to get ahead of myself when I say this, but your gift is going to make room for you. Your gift is going to make room for you. We're going to get understanding to that a little bit later, but shout out to my niece. Keep doing what you're doing. Because you're doing it good. You're doing it well. You're doing it right. It's going to make room for you. Shout out to Sister Vashawn up in the building, aka Sister Miranda from GA up in the building. Welcome. Thank you for fellowshipping with us this morning. Shout out to Sister Mary from the Great Northwest. Definitely up in the building. How you doing today? The link will be in the chat for you. We got the mics available for you. We got the camera you can come off of. Come on, Sister Mary. Come on out and join us. Welcome, Sister Mary. All praises to the Most High. I see the homie. Sister Tasha is definitely up in the building. Welcome with the precepts on deck. Hey, we want to get into the I don't know if you had a chance to see the first part of the Melchizedek lesson, but we're going to try to finish it up here in the near future. But we definitely hope that you had the chance to at least see the first part of the Melchizedek lesson. That being said, welcome, Sister Tasha. Welcome, aka JoJo, aka Sister Phillips. And I'm believing that the brother Phillips is in the background. Shalom, dear brother and sister. Thank you for joining us. I repeat, do not hurt him. Tell him something, Joe. Tell him something, Joe. AKA, welcome. Aunt Boo Diddy. Aunt Patricia is definitely up in the building. Aunt Diddy, I love you. That's all Aunt Diddy will call me. Aunt Diddy will call me. She don't call me for no prayer. She don't call me for no extra word. She just say, you know what, nephew? I love you. And it always be timely. She'll shoot me a text. Or she'll shoot me like a video, something that she know fit my personality because she know how I am. But with that being said, she don't call for nothing else but just to tell me, I love you. Aunt Diddy, I love you, Aunt Diddy. Thank you, Aunt Diddy, for you being you. With that being said, my sister, Kyra, aka Special K, aka the baby girl, up in the building. I love you. I was thinking about you yesterday. We're going to have to talk. I was thinking about you yesterday. Miss you, girl. Can't wait to see you. Shalom, dear sister. Who else up in the building? Who else? My Chelsea, definitely up in the building. Everything is Irene, man. I can't wait till we can see you again, my Chelsea. It's been a long time. We might have to either go down to San Antonio, or if you're in the area, you come this way. But we definitely want to put hands on you in a positive way, to be able to hug you, to greet you with brotherly hugs and kisses. We miss you, Ema Chelsea. Can't wait to see you. Maybe we can see if we can get up here for Passover. But we definitely look forward to seeing you, Ema Chelsea, up in the building. Who else do we got? Did I miss anybody? Because sometimes I stop scrolling. I'm seeing the ones in the chat, seeing the ones. I think I got everybody this week. I think I got everybody this week. So with that being said, we got the Moray. He's backstage, aka Asian Z is backstage. I got my big homie Giat on stage with me. We might put the link in the chat for one of the young brothers. I see Majesty is here. I know one of the other brothers is coming. I know the Fun Bunch is in the background. My son may have to go to a separate place, but we may put the link in the chat for the young warriors, the young brothers. I have to reach out to more of my young brothers. We have to get them in here, get them interacting with us and things of that nature. But I see the couple, the usual young brothers is represented. Shout out to the young warriors. We love you, young men that are desiring to get in position to prepare for leadership. There she go. I go down and I will slay that king, aka Sister Judith, aka Sister Deborah is up in the building. Welcome, Sister Deborah. We love you. Miss your voice, miss your feedback, miss your commentary. Welcome. Shout out to Sister Deborah. That being said, last and definitely not least, matter of fact, first and foremost, the actual reason that we're here, shout out all praises, glory, and honor to the King. May everything that we do, everything that we say be acceptable in your sight. Honor our fellowship, honor our sacrifice, our living sacrifices before you, that we may receive your instruction and go out and represent you and serve you. We thank you, Father, for the honor to be your sons and your daughters, to be your servants that you called. With that being said, before we get into the lesson, we have a couple songs that we just want to hear to kind of set the pace, set the tone. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into those songs, and may they minister to your spirit. May they encourage you, and we'll just go ahead and go from there.
places. After every scar open and bleeding. After all my mistakes, I will trust in your grace to be enough for me. You are God, God alone. After all, you are God, God alone. After all, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Oh. Cause I got these mouths to feed. Then I think about where I've been, and I must believe that if he did it, he'll do it again. God has been too good to me. Every good and perfect thing, let's see what today may bring for my good, for my good. It's so worth it, for my good. It's gonna work out for my good. Yeah.
Let me tell you just how I know when I lost it all. He returned it 100-fold, cause I held on to his promise. If you wonder what the future holds, if it will get better, just rest and take it slow, one foot in front of the other. Every good, perfect thing. Let's see today may bring for my good, for my good. I see it working. It's all working. Yes, it is.
For my good, for my good.
It's gotta work.
It's all working for my good.
For the Lord is good, and his mercy endures forever.
For the Lord is good, and his mercy endures forever.
All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High for those selections, those words. And it truly, listen to what the song said. As a matter of fact, if you can just harken back to not the last lesson, but the lesson a couple weeks ago when we talked about preparation. I hope you guys can still hear me. But when we talk about the preparation, or that it was being prepared. And so when the king said, "Let not your heart be troubled, believe in the Most High, also believe in me." He said, for I go to prepare a place for you. And so we understand that while the king, and this kind of is even guiding into our thought for today, but even while the king is working, as the Father is working to prepare this place for us, he says, don't let our heart be troubled. He said, don't let our heart be troubled. The reason why is because you're going to hear a lot of stuff. We're seeing a lot of stuff. When you talk about from a societal standpoint, from a news standpoint, what it, and I don't spend a lot of time watching the news because it's a lot of, if you let it, it'll cause you anxiety. It'll cause you to be anxious and you start hearing more voices than you should. But there's nothing wrong with being aware, but there has to be a balance. And so with that being said, the concern is that when you hear the reports of this, the rumors and all this, this is what the king is talking about when he said, let not your heart be troubled, because he said, believe in me, believe in God, also believe in me. Romans 8 says, what shall separate me from the love? I'm getting into what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, but he said, what shall separate me from the love? From the love, from the word, from the word is the Most High's love to us. And so we got to understand that if it's being allowed to happen, the Father said in Romans 8, all things work together for the good of them who are the called according to the purpose of the Father. And so we just have to walk in that Psalms 91 where we stay in him, where we have the focus. Like when you put horses on, they have those little blinders on the side in order to help them stay focused. So as they turn them, the bit with their mouth to turn them right or left, they still had the focus to keep their eyes on a prize. Peter didn't start to sink when he was walking on water until he took his eyes off the king and he looked at the water. In other words, we start to believe the reports. Like last week, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I feel to go this way. We were talking about water last week and how nations and tongues, they represent water. And understanding that nations and tongues represent water, the word says that the Spirit hovered over the waters. But then when we get into what we're going to talk about a little bit even more today, when you get into the garden, it said that there was water that flowed, or a river that flowed to nourish the garden. The king said, what? Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. So the water that the rest of the nations have is different than the water that we have. The water that the rest of the nations operate in is different than the water that we have, because the water that we have is drinkable water. It's water that can be drunk. And so understanding that water is drinkable, the water that we offer is water that causes healing. The water that we offer is water that causes hope, that causes sanctification, etc. The king said, out of our belly shall flow rivers of living water. So when we talk about what's going on today, the word said, don't let your heart be troubled, because the place is being prepared for us. And so while, again, it looks like the enemy is winning, or it looks like the enemy is getting away with this and that, and they're doing this and they're passing this law, and and they're manipulating over here, and they're doing all. Remember, Psalms 91 said that the snare, the trap of the fowler, it won't come nigh us. We are aware of these things. We know these things, but we got to get to the place where we trust what the Father says, and we stay focused on what the Father says and doing what the Father says, because now in him, in his name, there's safety. He said that my name is a strong tower, and they that run therein shall find safety. How? How do we find safety? Because we're obeying what he says. The only time that we don't find safety, and I'm not talking about that there might be, sometimes you might have to pay that price. The apostles paid the price. Christ paid the price. So there may be times that the obedience may cause the price to be paid. But what I'm talking about is when you're living, you're not living in fear. You're not living in doubt and consternation and they're doing this and they said this and they listen. We were talking about this last night. The fact that they are cutting things or the fact that they are removing things and stepping back means that it's an opportunity for us to step up. In other words, the less they interfere, the more we can become. I hope y'all understand what I'm getting at, because we don't fret over the believers in the Most High, don't fret over the fact that they cut in government assistance type programs. Why? Because he said in the word, greater is he that's in us than he that is in the world. I don't worry about that, because our mom used to always say this: we got everything we need amongst us. And I'm not here to preach, like I said, or teach Israelite supremacy. I'm just here to teach trust in the Father and walking in what he put in us in order for us to manifest the kingdom here. That's what Christ was about. That's what he taught the apostles. And that's what we understand the scriptures to mean today. So don't let all the stuff that you hear get you out of sorts, get you fretful, get you fearful, because like the song said, these things is working for our good. The Father is faithful. I was talking to my sister last night, Kia, Sister Targaryen. I don't know if she's here. She didn't make it, so I didn't see her in the chat. But shout out to my sister Targaryen, and also my brother Captain Hooks. I saw my two of my nieces, my beautiful nieces. Shout out to Red, aka Tanatica Cheeks. Tits, I don't know if you're on there, but shout out to you, Red. And she know why I'm calling her Red. Hey, yo, Red, what's good? With that being said, shout out to you. Shout out to my niece Tyler. Welcome. It's good to see some of our young people here. But understand this: it's working for our good. And if it's working for our good, the Father's allowing it to happen because it's working for our good. Remember, the worst is the way of the transgressors hard. The Father is having them do all the hard work to prepare the place for us. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, where they are putting the work in, and we're going to get houses that we didn't build, lands that we didn't farm, etc. We're going to have these things, and don't worry about reparations. Don't worry about it. When it's all said and done, just like the ancestors came out with great wealth and prosperity out of Egypt, so will be the case for us. With that being said, I'm going to get into the lesson. I'm probably got all into my lesson, got ahead of myself. So there's going to be some things that I just said that I'm going to revisit, but I just wanted to put that out there to us because there's a lot of voices. There's a lot of water. But with that being said, we have in us the living water. We have the treasure that's in earthen vessels. Never mind, I ain't gonna keep doing that. I'll keep getting ahead of myself. Understand this, family. That the Father is in us. He's the earnest deposit of his glory. He's the earnest deposit. We'll come back to that. But remember, family, I want to call to your mind. I want to call to your remembrance. Welcome, Brother Naeem. I see you up here on the floor. Do you want to come off the mic? Just greet the family real quick. Are you there, Brother Naeem?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Shalom, everyone. How's everybody doing? Shalom.
Shalom. Welcome, young brother.
Thank you.
Welcome, young warriors. Good to see my young warriors stepping up. We got to do more with them. We're going to do more with them. But this is just a start. So I'm proud of the faithful young warriors that are in position, available in position. That being said, I want to call to y'all remembrance because Moray has brought out a lot of strong lessons a few weeks ago, and I don't want those things to be forgotten. I don't want those things to just, I said this last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating this. Don't want those things to turn into good messages that we just file away. These things need to stay and be in the forefront of our conscience. They need to be in the forefront of our mind. And so you got to understand that it was the Most High that moved on our moray to gradually move us through the weaning process. Through the weaning process. The weaning, not reaning, but weaning process. To move us from milk to meat. And I'm not even going to front. We talked about it before, because there were some things that he'd been sitting on for years. Some of the stuff that he brought up the past 3 weeks, Suki can attest to this. These were things that have been sat on for a long time. We was teaching Bible study at, in 2022 when I was at the first house that we had when we first moved out here. These were things that we were delving into then, and that he had been sitting on for an extended period of time, because he was very conscientious about meeting the people that were serving where they're at, and not trying to overload people. And so when it got to the point that he felt the season or the timing to move on to these things, that's when he released them. When you talk about the gradual weaning from the milk to the meat. And so based on those lessons, it was important for us, based on them lessons, to get a picture or a vision of who the Father is. We had to get a picture or a vision of who the Father is. We're not talking about fingers and toes or anything like that, but the character of the Father, the ways of the Father. Remember, we're talking about being chasers of the way. And so because there's so many voices in the land, and there's so many lessons, and I'm not, you'll never hear us say we the home of the truth and we got all right. No, we don't. But that which the Most High give us, we stand on that, we search it out, we vet it out, we talk in the background about these things. We don't just get out and just say some stuff because we just feel like saying some stuff. Like, oh, this sounds good, let's go ahead and teach this. No, we vet these things amongst each other. We talk. There was something that I said to the brothers this week, and we're going to vet it out. We're going to talk about that, because there's some things that we see in Scripture that we, before we present it to you, got to make sure it's sound. We got to make sure it's sound. And so this is what we do. And so when you talk about, it was important for us to get a picture or a vision of who the Father is, because when sin entered the picture, or when sin entered the equation, when knowledge of good and evil came into play, the very image and likeness of the Most High that we were called to reflect got marred and distorted. That image got marred and distorted. So remember, Adam and Eve's intent from the beginning was to be like the Most High. Let me say that again. Their intent from the beginning was to be like the Most High. The problem was they didn't know that they were already there. Just took a little patience. Just took a little time, because the Father is, listen, he said, my creation can't contain me. That part of creation, no matter how anointed you are, no matter how called, no matter how gifted you are, that you're part of that creation. And so when he says that my creation can't contain me, he really means that. So what he does is he gives us himself in increments. And so when you understand that he gives us himself in increments, he's revealing himself. His spirit is opening himself up to a little piece at a time, a little piece at a time, a little bit at a time. And this is important because as we learn these things, they become a part of us. They become a part of us, and we begin to conform to these things if they truly become a part of us. It says, so we begin to endeavor. So it's been my endeavor based on what he has taught, what our brother has taught, to bring the revelation that the Most High had gave the Moray to a place of application. Because it's one thing to hear the lesson, but now because we heard these things, we're accountable to that. The Father's not just saying, okay, I'm going to reveal myself and open myself up to you for you to say, oh, that's a good word. That's a good lesson. Well, and make us fall more and more in love with him. That's not just the purpose of it. He said, how do I know you love me? You do what I said. You do what I said. And so Genesis 1:26 and 27 is real because he said, let us make man in my likeness and image, in our likeness and image, and let him or let them have dominion. And so when he created us to reflect him, to walk in his likeness, to walk in his ways, to walk in his character, to walk in understanding. This is important because we got to get to the place of application. We talked about the king and how the king last week, we talked about how the king is working alongside the father to prepare a place. It was also followed up with the understanding or the need for us to realize that while that place is being prepared, while the Father is using our enemies to prepare a place, those that would oppress us, those that would see us destroyed, is actually being used by the Most High to prepare that place. Remember, the song was, these things are working out for our good. This is what's going on behind the scenes. The only thing needed from us during this time of preparation, while the place is being prepared, is for us to serve, which is why the king said what? Pray. Pray for what? Pray for laborers. People who are willing to operate by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, operate in the spirit, to get in the habit or get in the mindset to walk according to the river that flowed in Genesis 2, that divided into 4 heads. What did that symbolize? That symbolized the scattering or the spreading of the word to the 4 corners of the world. That's why the Hebrew word in that was different. The Hebrew word in Genesis 2 was different than the Hebrew word in Genesis 1. The shakah. Shakah meaning drinkable water. What did the king say? We just said this earlier. Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. What does Revelations 22 say? There will be 12 manner of fruit that will be what? By the river. And what will happen with those 12 manner of fruit? They will be for what? The healing of the nations, that drinkable water. So we were that drinkable water that will be scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. And so we got to understand that what makes us drinkable is the word. What makes us drinkable is the spirit. And so because the word and spirit makes us drinkable, we are that water that is fit or made for what? The harvest. This is what the king said, pray for. He said, because the fields are white with harvest. Pray for laborers. Pray for people that are willing to get out. So if we wonder, what am I to be doing during this time? Because sometimes we feel stagnant. Sometimes we feel like we're not progressing. Sometimes we feel like we're not moving. Why? Because we've gotten our eyes off the king and we put our eyes on the circumstances. And what I'm encouraging you to do is when you don't know what else to do, serve. When you don't know what else to do, be a blessing. Be a light to someone. Seek an opportunity for the Most High to use you to minister to someone because you don't know where your deliverance is at in you serving the Father. You may think that you're going here for this purpose, but then in you serving the Father or in you having the mindset that despite the natural world that I live in, here's an opportunity for somebody to learn of the Father. And that opportunity has been presented to me. Why? Because I'm drinkable water. Remember, we're coming up even on the Feast of Tabernacle. During the Feast of Tabernacle, there is a time for what? A harvest. A harvest. That's the last time that first fruit will be brought in. First fruit was always brought in for what? A season to be a blessing to what? The widows, the orphans, the stranger, and the priest during that time. And the priest during that time. In other words, you are the priests. You are the ones who connect the people to the Father. You are the laborers. You are the drinkable water. See, all these other nations, they like salt water. They got water, but it's salt water. And their salt water eventually, if you drink too much of it, it leads to death because they're not connected to the Father. But when you're connected to the Father, you have that living water, that salt water, and I mean that living water, that fresh water that leads to harvest, that leads to water in the soil, that leads to nurturing the land. And so this is the time, or this is the season in which we're called in. So if I had a thought to leave with you, the thought is not that you need more word, or the problem is not more word. Faith is the problem. And why am I saying faith? Faith is not in and of itself the problem. It's the execution or the moving in faith, because there has to be a maturity in the relationship. There has to be a maturity in the relationship. And I'm going to get to why I said that, because we understand according to the word, he said, faith come by what? Hearing. We got to get out of our mindset that faith is, I'm just going to wait on the Lord. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. But faith is not waiting on the Lord. Faith is, I heard what he said, because it came by hearing, and I'm going to step out and do what he said. Naeem, are you available to read, Young Warrior?
Yes, sir, I am.
Give me 1 Corinthians 3, 5 through 9. Give me 1 Corinthians 3, 5 through 9. Read it deliberately and slowly, because I might jump in on you. 1 Corinthians 3, 5 through 9. Remember, we're in these last days, family. We're bringing in the harvest. Want to encourage you. We're bringing in the harvest. Let me know you got that, young king.
I got it right here.
Let's go.
1 Corinthians 3, verses 5 through 9.
Yes, sir.
Who then is Paul?
Mm-hmm.
And who is Apollos? But ministers by whom ye believed, even as the Lord gave to every man.
Mm-hmm.
I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase.
Stop right there for a second. So a lot of times we get in comparison, because one thing about us is Israel, we're quick to be respecters of persons. The Father is saying, Paul is saying in this instance, listen, who are we? In other words, there's nothing significant, nothing special about me. There's nothing significant or special about Moray or Sukkah or whoever you frequent with when you hear this word. Only thing we're called to do is to do what? Plant or water. We're nothing more. But it's the Most High, and I'm going somewhere with this. We talk about the garden. It's the Most High that gives the increase in the garden, that causes the crops or the harvest to come. He's the one. So when even we're rejected, or when we're kicked to the curb, or when we're ostracized, that's why we can't take it personal, because if we're planting the seed or we're trying to water the seed and it doesn't appear to be a response or growth, we can't take it personal, because we're not the Lord of the harvest. The Father is the one that's the Lord of the harvest. Remember, it's his word. Let me be quiet for a second. I might be getting ahead of myself again. Verse 7, young king.
Yes, sir. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase.
Mm-hmm.
Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one,
Mm-hmm.
and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
And to his what?
Unto his own labor.
What did Christ say pray for?
Pray for more harvesters, or more people in the field.
More laborers.
More laborers.
Pray for, we talked about this last week. Christ said, pray for more laborers. Remember, he said, we are one. Every man shall receive the reward of his own labor. Verse 9. For we are what?
For we are laborers together with God.
We are what?
Laborers.
So it's not just Moray who's the laborer. It's not just Ben Yah who's the laborer. Everybody that's under the sound of my voice, you are what? A laborer. Go ahead.
For we are laborers together with God.
Mm-hmm.
Ye are God's husbandry.
What does it mean to be the husbandry of God? It means that we are his cultivated land. That's what husbandry means. We are the cultivated land. We're his property. We're his property. Just listen, just as sure as I sit here and I'm either planting seed or watering seed, I'm planting seed and watering seed in myself. We're his property. And so just like I had the same problem that it's not more word that's the issue, it's faith. I gotta move in faith, just like the endeavor here this afternoon is to encourage you to also move in faith. It says that we are the husbandry or his cultivated land. We are his property. Go ahead and finish that, young king. It's only 2 words.
Yeah, ye are God's building.
We are his cultivated land, his garden. We are the Most High's building. So I don't know if you were here last week or I can't remember when it was said. We've referenced Psalms 24. And in referencing Psalms 24, it said that the earth, talking about land, talking about property, we're talking about gardens. He said that the earth is the Most High and the fullness thereof. We referenced that. We also reference Genesis 2 and 8, where we talked about the garden. Moray did that. We referenced the garden. And I just want to go back and I want to visit that. I want to go visit that because remember, because I don't want you guys to forget that. When we talk about the garden, we talk about in Genesis, the garden, and it talks about, it says, the Hebrew word for that is gone. And it says the pictograph is a picture of the foot. And it means to walk with, it says to walk with, I'm sorry, I'm messing that up. To walk with an extended meaning, to gather. To gather. We're talking about harvest. It says the pictograph is the picture is the sprouting seed. Combined with these means a gathering of seed, a garden, a place for growing crops, and is often surrounded by a rock, wall, or hedge to do what? To protect. We're talking about the word or the secret place of the Most High, to protect from grazing animals. Let's go to the further meaning of it. It says a garden enclosed by walls. We're in his protection. We're under the protection of the Father. A shield as a wall of protection. A garden. So when we get into the pictograph, I'm sorry, brother, I wasn't trying to be there long. I know you're trying to put a lexicon up. I'll go ahead and read that. God denotes deliberately enclosed, cultivated plot. Remember, we just read in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 3, it says, or was it 5? My fault. 1 Corinthians 5, it said that we are his husbandry. We are what? His cultivated land, his cultivated plot. The Father is the Lord of the harvest. We belong to him. It says, often irrigated, or shakah, living water meant to flood the land for what? Seed, for crops, for harvest. Often irrigated and protected, devoted to fruit trees, vegetables, aromatic plants, or pleasure. It's frequent pairing with words for planting, watering, fencing, underscores intentional care rather than untamed wilderness. Thank you for pulling that out, brother. This is what we are to the Father. He said, listen, family. Romans 1:20 says that we are that creation, it testifies of the Father. It testifies of him. It speaks of him. It speaks of his plan. It speaks of his desire. And so when we talk about these things in creation, these things are trying to give us a picture of the thought process of the Father. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The reason why this is important, because if we know or understand why the Father did what he did, or understand why he said what he said, then we understand how we're supposed to move, what we're supposed to conform to. Remember, the word says that he made Israel know his acts. That's a servant's mentality. But he said to Moses, he made known his ways. He gave Moses understanding. So it wasn't just a law to Moses. It wasn't just an ordinance or statute to Moses. It was revelation to Moses. It was living water to Moses. Well, Moses got the understanding as to why the Father said this, and thus. It wasn't just, well, let me just put these on tablets, or let me just put this on a parchment. No, he understood that there was a deeper meaning or a deeper purpose. And so in this endeavor, as we are endeavoring to do, following the lead of our moray, move from milk to meat, now we have to get the meaning or the purpose behind why the Father is doing what he says do, why the Father is moving the way that he's moving. And so because we are his property, we are his workmanship, we are his husbandry, we belong to the Father. Remember, he said, let us make man in our likeness and image. Adam was made in the likeness and image of the Father. When you look at Luke 3 and it traces the lineage of Christ, what does it say about Adam in the end? He's the son of who? The son of God. What does that look like? One, if he's the son of God, it denotes that he is a child of the Most High. He's a child of the Most High. He's a offspring of the Most High. Well, what makes him an offspring of the Most High? Is because the Most High selected him to put his word in him. So anybody that's willing to allow the word to saturate or become engrafted in them, become a part of them, what do you become? A son or a daughter of the Most High. Give me Mark 10, 13 through 16, young king. Mark 10, 13 through 16. I hope you all are following along with me. I hope you all are kind of seeing where I'm headed with this.
Mark 10, verses 13 through 16.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought young children to him, that he should touch them. And his disciples rebuked those that bought them. But then Jesus saw it. He was much displeased, and said unto them, suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not. For of such is the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm.
Verily I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall not enter therein.
Mm-hmm.
He took them up in his arms, put his hands upon them, and blessed them.
Listen, and Suka, big brother, feel free to come off mute if there's something you want to say. You see an ad too. I don't want you sitting there silent if there's something that may jump off to you. But he said in verse 15, he says, verily, I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of the Most High as a little child, he shall not enter therein. As a little child. Why did the king say as a little child? He said the kingdom of heaven is as such. Why did he say as a little child? I was talking to my brother last night. I was at his house. We were talking last night. And I'm watching his granddaughter and our great niece run around. And I'm looking at these babies play. And I said, this is how that's supposed to be. And we got to marveling at the fact that I got problems. I got issues. I'm a social worker at heart. I got issues if I go into a house and there's kids and it's not a little clutter. Signs of play, signs of creativity, signs of kids having fun. Kids are supposed to have a little fun. They're supposed to have some freedom in the home. That's why as my kids were growing up and I'm watching these babies growing up, I'm looking at these babies run around and they get to be kids. Because why? They're in a place where they're comfortable. They're in a place where they feel protected. They're in a place where, because they know as long as I obey my mom, my dad's rules, I'm safe to do whatever I want in my parents' house. And there's some things that because I have access to my parents, to my pop or whatever, I don't have to ask. I just freely go from this room to that room. I ain't got to ask to go to the bathroom. I ain't got to ask to get a drink of water. I ain't got to ask to go into the refrigerator. I ain't got to ask. My kids are still like that to this day, where there's not a fear or a consternation. Listen, I got a son. Everybody knows I got a son. Sugar nicknamed him Bear. He's a big boy. If I don't say to my son, I want to get that. If he sees it in the refrigerator and it's something that he likes, guess what? He's going to eat that. And it could have been something that I wanted and wanted to go back to. So I had to tell him, like, look, son, I want that. Why? Because he's always grown up with the understanding that I'm in my dad's house. And because I'm in my dad's house, whatever is my father's, I have access to. I'm free to roam in. I'm free to explore. I'm free. I can play my games. I could do my art. I could do this. So I'm watching these babies. 4, and I don't know how old Baby Cheeks is. Natalie is, but I think she's like 3. I think she might be 3. But I'm looking at these kids and they freely accessing Moray's house, freely running around, playing. We just say, be careful. Don't bump your head on the corner. Don't stub your toe on the chair. But they're free to play, free to use that energy, free to express. Why? Because as long as they're not being disrespectful, as long as they're not touching stuff they don't need to touch, as long as they're not hurting one another, you're free to play. You're free to have fun. I'm going somewhere with this because the word talks about the kingdom is like that. The imagination, the marvel, the joy, the comfort that we have, knowing that we are in the will of our Father, the will of our Father in this house. We are free. I'm going to get into it. But we have to have that mindset. We have to have that temperament. Listen, he's not calling us. He said, I'm not giving you a spirit of fear, but a power of love and of a sound mind. Why? Because you in me. This is my spirit. What is that? Just like Abba say, we may do as we like, as long as we are in the confines of the. Exactly. That's what he's saying. Keeping the laws that. Yes. Exactly, sis. So you understand where I'm going with this. Thank you for walking with me, sis. That's what I'm talking about. When we are in, listen, the basic foundations are laid. There was 3 things with my kids growing up. They were not negotiable. Listen, you do these 3 things, that's automatic chastisement. And the chastisement wasn't to banish them or to condemn them, but it was to let them know that in order to function in my house and be at peace with dad, these 3 things must not happen. And they've been very good with this. I said, listen, first and foremost, the main rule in the house, don't disrespect your mother. If you disrespect your mother, then you know you got problems with me. That's automatic. So they respect their mother. Second thing was, don't disrespect one another. Catch you disrespecting one another, guess what? You got problems with me. And I look at the relationship and the dynamic of the relationship, and it brings my heart joy as a father because they genuinely love one another. I'm not saying that they don't have arguments. I'm not saying that they don't have disagreements. Every one of them has said something to the effect of, my brother or my sister's getting on my nerves, but they get past it. There's not a time, especially in their young adult lives, that I've had to intervene in their conflict. I let them figure it out. And they figure it out, and they back to giggling with each other. They're back to loving one another. They're back to moving how they should move one another. There's no holding of grudges, which is Leviticus 19 and 17. Well, we're not supposed to be holding grudges against one another. Well, we're actually supposed to forgive one another. This is what the Father is saying. As long as you're in my house and you do these things, play. You're free to do whatever you want. Lastly, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, because I want to be able to trust you. Whatever it is to struggle with, let's deal with it. We deal with it. Let's get past it. Let's get past it. But those were 3 things that if you did those 3 things, that was non-negotiable. Automatic chastisement. And whatever chastisement it was, it was. But my kids have been faithful. And so it makes it easier for them to dwell in the house. Why? Because those 3 things are consistent. Those three things they walked in. That's all I wanted. So when you talk about the Father, he said, listen, I gave you 10 of these things. You do these things, you honor me. You honor me, you stay under my protection. Now, statutes and commandments, they have depth to them, but as stated, as we walk into relationship with the Father, this is what we're talking about. Naeem said, he mentioned earlier to Israel, I've given my acts. He said, I made known my acts to Israel. He said, but he made Moses know his ways. What he's expressing now, as well as Yahusha expressed in Mark 10, it's about the relationship. And this is important. We're going to go somewhere. Now I ain't trying to push me ahead of myself, and I don't want to do that. Stop that, young man. No, I'm playing. That's good stuff, young man. I'm playing. I don't mean to stop that. I'm being silly. But we're talking about the relationship. And so the king says that the kingdom is like that. The wonderment. As a child, we're in a child's place. A child's place. We're submitted to the rule, the leadership of our Father. But though we marvel at things like a child, as he reveals those things to us, because our Father is awesome, we will never be able to exhaust him. We will never be able to know everything about him. So we respond in childlike fashion, because learning new things about the Most High, it never gets old. That's why the messages that the last 3 messages that the Moray taught, we still eating on them. We're still talking about them. We're still in awe of them and wonderment of them. Why? Because it's something about the Father that we didn't know before, or we didn't quite fully understand. And so he brought those things to our understanding. He brought those things to our understanding. He chose us to know this about him, and it's an honor to receive that. But he said to us, even though we marvel at things as a child, in our walks, I'm talking about us, talking about Yehukanan, talking about chasers, anybody outside of chasers. It says, in our walks, it was not the intent for us to stay childish. Yes, we are to receive the kingdom like little children, but we are not to stay little children. Naeem, give me Romans 1:16 through 17. Romans 1:16 through 17. Let me know when you got it.
I got it right here.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me present it. 16 to 17.
Romans 1:16 through 17.
Yes, sir.
For I am not ashamed of the gospel of the Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
For it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth,
mm-hmm.
the Jew first, and also to the Greek.
Mm-hmm.
For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith.
What is revealed?
The righteousness of God.
The righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith. Mm-hmm. In other words, as he reveals it, there's a level of growth or a level of maturity that we are to be called to. The righteousness of God is revealed, as it is written, what?
The just shall live by faith.
So the issue is never more word. The issue is those that are justified, those that are called to be righteous, we live by what? Faith. As he opens his word up to us, it's not just supposed to be a good little lesson. It's supposed to be something that we internalize, we eat, we chew the cud, we regurgitate it for the second stomach, and we chew that up. Again, that's why if you hear a good lesson, you got to go back and revisit that. Don't just let that lesson fade away. Don't let the cares of the world fade down, take that away. Understanding away that lesson away. There's a reason why that is revealed, so that way you can go from faith to faith. The Father is revealing himself, because when he reveals a portion of his righteousness, he's saying, okay, be that, do that. We receive the kingdom of heaven like little children, but we receive it like little children for the hope that we grow. That's faith to faith. Give me Matthew 5:48. 5 and 48. Matthew 5, 48.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew 5, 48.
Yes, sir.
Be therefore perfect,
Mm-hmm.
even as your Father which is in heaven is
As
perfect.
who?
Your Father
Who?
which is in heaven, your Father.
The Father.
Mm-hmm.
Our Father which is in heaven. Christ said, your Father. That's what he said. He said, be ye perfect. Go ahead. Finish that.
Even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Moray, go to Bible Hub. Let's look up what that word perfect means.
Mm-hmm.
We look at the word perfect. The Greek word is teleos. Teleos. It means perfect, mature, complete, more perfect. Scroll down just a little bit. Stop right there. Can you click on telos? There's a root word called telos. It's a noun. Scroll up a little bit. Oh, never mind. It says the end or the end result, the end, the outcome, the custom, the end, the finished or finished product, something that is fulfilled. Telos. So teleos derives from telos, the end result or the intent. Can you go back to teleos? Teleos. So when you scroll down just a little bit more, go down. I mean, I'm sorry. Go down to the top topic thing. The top. The topical. Go down. Past the theirs. I'm not as thorough as you with that. Yeah, there we go. The topical lexicon. It says it clusters around the ideal of completeness. So mind you, hold on. When you hear the term perfect, Christ said, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. But then you hear preachers say we can't be, then they're going against what the word says. Because Christ spoke to who? Sinners, people who were already flawed, people who were not there. He said, be perfect. So it clusters around the idea of completeness brought to its intended goal, the end or the telos, the end, the finished product. To be, in other words, we came in as a child, but now we grow into this thing of being perfect. It says it's the intended goal. It speaks less of flawlessness. So it's not saying that you're not sinful, you haven't sinned. It speaks less of flawlessness and more of the wholeness that results when the Most High's purpose is fully realized in a person. In other words, when that word really gets deep down inside you, it's really fully realized in a person, act, or an era. Thank you, brother. We're talking about being perfect. So the king says, be perfect as our Father who is in heaven is perfect. We're talking about the relationship. He's our Father. Our Father is perfect. Our Father is perfection. I'm about to prove it. Give me Hebrews.
Yes, sir.
Give me Hebrews 6, 1-3.
Yes, sir. Hebrews 6, verses 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of the Mashiach.
Leaving the basics, leaving the meat. We're talking about maturity now in the spirit. Leaving the principles are the basics. The principles are the foundations. Remember when he dealt with the rich young man? He said, he asked the question, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? Christ gave him the principles. He said, honor thy father and thy mother. Don't steal, don't kill, don't lie. Don't keep the commandments. That young man said, these things I've done from my youth. And what Christ said, you have yet one more thing to do. He said, if you will be perfect, sell all you have, get to the poor and follow me. Basically, what he was saying is love your neighbor as yourself at first. The young man said, I've done this from my youth. Then he said, love the Most High. If you would be perfect, love the Most High. In other words, your riches are your idol. Your riches are your God. Sell your riches, give to the poor, follow me. The rich young man was troubled because he had much wealth. He said, if you will be perfect. So he says, therefore, leaving the foundation or the principles, the thou shalt not kill, steal, the fringes, the head wraps, those are principle things. I'm not saying, listen, I can show you, I got fringes on right now. Got my fringes on. But that doesn't make me perfect. Leaving the principles, the foundations. Go ahead, Naeem.
Let us go unto perfection.
Who is perfection?
The Most High.
The Most High is perfection. My young man is walking with me. The Most High is perfection. Perfection meaning supreme, ultimate. He is perfection. He's the finished product. He's the telos. He's the end result. Says not laying again. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Naeem. Go ahead.
Not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works.
We should be past this.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And of faith towards the Most High.
We should be in a mode, a constant mode of desiring to be before the Most High. Verse 2.
Of the doctrine of baptisms, and of laying on of hands, and of resurrection of the dead, and of eternal judgment. And this will we do if God permit.
Now, these are things that we're going to do in the time to come, but he's saying for those that are in him, those that are, we receive the kingdom as children. When we see the Ruach HaKodesh, we receive the kingdom. He said, as children, he's saying, now what? Let's move from the foundation because the Ruach HaKodesh in you has more to do, more to, excuse me, more to present, more to offer. Let's not get stuck on rudiments. Let's not get stuck on John's baptism and the baptism. Let's walk in the baptism of Christ. The baptism of Christ is different. Let's stop getting stuck on rudiments. The baptism of Christ is different. The baptism of Christ doesn't get stuck on the small stuff. I'm not saying to ignore it, but it should be already so ingrained in us and a part of us that now we continue to go into endless pursuit. That's why Romans 1, 16 and 17 said, what? We go from faith to faith. There has to be a change or a growth in the relationship. We receive the kingdom as little children. But if my babies stay little, we got a problem. The babies got to grow. The babies got to grow up. We're looking at baby cheeks, and we're looking at Rhea, and we're looking at the fact that these kids are growing up. They went from they couldn't talk to now they're running around. Now you see them talking with full sentences, able to answer back, able to respond to commands, able to actually give directives. When we were at Moray's house last night, baby Cheeks comes. Her mom has sent her with a word. Her mom has sent her with a directive. Because we were dealing with something, we had excused everybody from the room. But baby Cheeks comes in. And we're like, no, baby, go back into the room. She's like, she was saying, I got to get my mom's drink. I got to get my mom's drink. She said it a few times. We didn't know what she was saying at first because it wasn't as clear. But when we stopped and we listened for a second, was able to hear, oh, her mom had sent her in the room to get the drink. So she wasn't trying to disobey our directives. She was just listening to the directive of her mother to come and do what? To get the drink. Why? Because she's growing up. When she was first born, she couldn't have done that. Her mom couldn't have given her that directive. But as she grows in understanding. Her mom tells her, faith come by hearing by the word. Her mom says, hey, go get my drink and go get my drink out of Uncle Gene's dining room. She comes out. We're saying, go back. So I got to get my mom's drink. I got to get my mom's drink. What you mean her mom's drink? I look over and I see, oh, the little blue drink that her mom said that she had in there earlier. Give her the drink. She took the drink. She ran it back to her mom. When she was 1, she couldn't have done that. When she was 10 months, she couldn't have done that. But now at 3, she's doing that. Why? Because the child is growing. She has the relationship. She honors us. She respects us. She want to obey what we're saying. But now she's at a place where the relationship is such where now she's able to communicate back. I'm following a command. I'm following a command. This is what we're talking about. Going on to perfection. The baby has to grow up. The baby has to step out. The baby has to move. The problem is not more word. The problem is faith. Diane, give me Galatians 4, 1 through 7. Did we read all 1 through 3? Yeah, we did. Galatians 4, 1 through 7. We talked about this last week. I just want to bring the scripture back to your remembrance. Talked about this last week.
Galatians 4, verses 1 through 7.
Yes, sir.
Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from the servant, though he be Lord.
Time out. Remember, the word says that the earth is whose? The Most High, and the fullness thereof. That's Psalms 24, and everything that dwells therein. So if now we're in receiving the kingdom, and we are sons and daughters of the Most High, if we're in the Father and the earth is his, who has access to everything in this earth? The children. So it says now that the heir, that's why we got to start seeing ourselves as heir. And it says as long as the heir is a what? You with me, Naeem? As long as the heir is a what?
Is a child.
Is a child, he differeth nothing from a servant, though he be what?
Lord of all.
Verse 2.
But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father.
Who appoints the time?
The Father.
The Father. Go ahead.
Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his Son.
He sent for who?
His Son.
His Son. His Son. Not the Son of Man, but his Son. Now, mind you, our King had to grow into that. We're going to get into that a little later, but he had to grow into being his Son. Go ahead.
Made of woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law.
It says we were under the law, meaning we were worthy of death. We had a penalty to pay. Christ came and paid that price. He says to redeem them that were under the law. Under the law, meaning we had already broken it. We had already sinned. We paid the penalty. In order for us to come back into fellowship or relationship, he paid that price. Go ahead.
That we may receive the adoption of sons.
That we may receive what?
The adoption of sons.
The adoptions. If you ever seen the adoption process goes, what happens is listen, family. When I used to work for children's services, I would have families that would lose their child, but they still had an opportunity or space to get the child back, depending on what they did. Now, if they did not do what they were supposed to do, what would end up happening is the child would be put in what we will call permanency planning options, meaning we either need to find a close relative. If we don't have a close relative that is eligible or fit, we got to look into potential adoptions. So we would put certain children that were in a home that was for adoption. And if that placement worked out, when that child received, you guys got to hear me, when that child received the adoption from the new parents or the foster parents, it severed the rights of the old parent. This is important because when you look at what we were under, we were in sin. We were in sin. But because of what Christ did, the old owner that had rights to us, that we were the child of evil or the child of wickedness or children of evil, the children of wickedness, now we have been redeemed or restored back That's why instead of new covenant, it's really the renewed covenant, because initially the plan was we were all supposed to be sons and daughters of the Most High. But when sin came into the equation, we stopped being sons and daughters of the Most High, and we became sons and daughters of sin. Now, because of Christ, the rights that sin and death have to us, or the rights that wickedness have to us, we are now they no longer have those parental rights. They no longer have that ownership. We are now sons and daughters of the Most High. Therefore, we receive the adoption of what? Sons and daughters. When you see a masculine word in this, sons, that's also including daughters. It's not to exclude the daughters. That's why a lot of times when you go in the room, you like, hey guys. Now, normally when you use the term guys, you're really talking about a group of people. But a guy can be referred to in the masculine as a guy. This is what sons mean in this case. So it doesn't exclude the daughters. Just want to clear that up. It says that we receive the adoption of sons and daughters. So the parental rights that our past had over us, the flaws, the sins that we committed, that old mindset, that old flesh that had rights over us, it no longer has a right over us. It's been severed. Why? Because of the Lamb, because of Christ. Read verse 6.
Yes, sir. And because ye are sons, God has set forth the spirit of his son into your heart, crying, Abba, Father. Wherefore thou art no more a servant,
no more,
but a son.
But we are sons and daughters. Go ahead.
And if a son, then an heir of God through the Hamashiach.
Through Christ, we're an heir. And when you are in the family, you have access. You have access. Why? Because you're in him. You're in the Father. I'm getting somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I'm just laying the groundwork. Give me 1 Corinthians 13 and 11.
Sure. 1 Corinthians 13 through 11? 1 Corinthians verse 11?
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians 13, 11.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
The relationship now that as we grow and understand it, as we're in the process of weaning from milk to meat, we understand that as the Father is the revealer, as he reveals himself, he's not calling us to put away childish things, to put away childish thinking, to stop responding as children, to stop walking as dependents and start walking in the dominion, to start walking as ones who inherited. So when we look all through the text, it's a constant reminder from the Most High that we belong to him. We belong to him. We are his workmanship. We are his husbandry. According to Exodus 4 and 22, it says that we are his firstborn as a nation. We are his firstborn son. So the aim or the goal was always to shape us into his image, into the image of his children. Give me James chapter 1, 16 through 25.
You said James chapter 1, 16 through 35?
25.
James chapter 1, verses 16 through 25. Do not err, my beloved brethren.
Do not err. Change the way we think about this thing. Do not err. Listen to the descriptive language that James uses to describe who we are. Go ahead.
Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above.
Every what?
Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. And cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning.
Stop right there. He said, every good and perfect gift come from who's the good and perfect gift? Who's the first good and perfect gift? The King. Because the King is the first good and perfect gift, now what does that make us who are in him? Good and perfect gifts. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. Remember, we talked about the word perfect. It means to mature, to become whole, to become complete. Remember, we're not babies anymore. We're not dealing with the meager elements anymore. We're not dealing with foundations of repentance from dead works anymore. If you are practicing sin, this word is not for you. If you're in this, if you're in the mindset of I don't want to lie, I don't want to commit adultery, I don't want to lie, I don't want to steal and all this other stuff, then this is not for you. This is for people who are in the mindset of I just want to learn of the Father so I can be like my Father and I can move on and serve him effectively because I understand why I am here. It says every good and perfect gift comes from above, down from the Father of lights or foes. Light. We understand, we talked this a while ago. Foes. The Father is light. It says, I think it was John, talks about that God is light. John later says through Christ 8 and 12, he says what? I am the light of the world. Why? Because I come down from the Father. Christ then goes on and says to us in Matthew 5, what? Let your light or foes, the same light that the Father is in 1 John, I think it's 1 John 5, is the same light that Christ said he is the same light in Matthew that Christ said what? Let it shine in us. We come from the same source. It said every good and perfect gift comes from who? From above. From who? The Father of lights. He is the Father of lights. So if he is your Father, what does that make you? Light. Foes. He is the source of the light, who is no variableness or no shadow of turning. In other words, he ain't changing. He not shady. Give me verse 18.
Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth.
Of his what?
Of his own will.
Remember, Isaiah 46 and 10, Moray been having this on this for a minute. He said, I will do my own counsel. Mm-hmm. I will accomplish my own counsel. He said, I called him in from the beginning, and I will accomplish my own counsel. He said, of his own will had he done what? He begot us. He chose us. There was nothing about us that was like, yo, let me get them. He said of his own will or his own counsel, it says he begot us. With what?
With the word of truth.
With the what?
With the word of truth.
The issue is not more word. He already put in you the word. The issue is faith. In other words, stepping out on the word, moving in the word. You already had the word. What does the word say? A good warfare by what? The prophecies or the word that was spoken over you. He said, of his own will, he begot us by the word of truth, that we may what?
That we should be of a kind of first fruits of his creature.
A kind of first fruits. This is important because we understand when he called us out of Egypt, he said, let the firstborn son that cracked the matrix of every woman, beast and everything, be unto me. Be unto me. Now, initially, what ended up happening was because they didn't want to walk in that, the Levitical priesthood had to take place. But that never changed. We were always, as Israel, as the firstborn son, we were supposed to be a form of first fruit, sanctified unto the Father in order to be what? For the strangers, provision for the strangers. We were supposed to be for the widows, the orphans, and those who are servants of the Most High. We are the first fruit. We are the first fruit. As long as we are in Christ, as long as we obey, as long as we are in the will, we are, the word says right here, we should be a kind of first fruit of his creation or his creatures. Give me verse 19.
Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Yes, sir.
For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
And we understand this because he said, according to Exodus 34, that he is merciful. He is merciful. He gave his characteristics even then. And so he's saying to emulate that. Remember, we talked about this so many times. The first thing, according to Exodus 25, that he commanded to be created was what? The mercy seat. The mercy seat. That had to be the first thing that was created. What did the king say on the cross? He's been lied on. He's been beaten. He's been crucified. He's been tortured, pierced, spat on, the whole nine. What did he say? Father, forgive them. What? Mercy. He could have called down judgment. And he was well just in doing that. He was justified to do that because the man was lied on. And the man was murdered for loving us, for doing the right thing, for healing the sick, for raising the dead, healing ears, feeding hungry, doing the will of the Father, manifesting the kingdom. He was murdered for that. Had every right to say, kill him, unalive him. Excuse me, YouTube algorithm, unalive him. But what did he say? He said, Father, forgive them. The mercy. The mercy. He said, for the wrath of man, work not the wisdom of the Father. Go ahead. The righteousness of the Father. Go ahead.
Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness.
Or in other words, a whole abundance of foolishness. Go ahead.
And receive with meekness the engrafted word.
Receive what?
With meekness the engrafted word.
The engrafted word. Sukkah always references this verse. He always references scripture. When you talk about the engrafted word, that is what? Able to do what?
Able to save your soul.
That engrafted word, that word becomes a part of you. In other words, the relationship begins to mature. The relationship begins to evolve. So we receive the engrafted word. The problem is not the word. Go ahead.
But be ye doers of the word.
What?
But be ye doers of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And not hearers only.
Mm-hmm.
Deceiving your own selves.
Deceiving our own. Listen, don't let them lessons that the Moray gave us about the garden just be something that you just heard. Get a vision of the Father. Because if you get a vision of the Father, he said, what? Be ye holy, for I am holy. Be ye perfect, because he is it. And I keep my eyes on him. I now see what I can be as he reveals it to me. I see what I can be. He said, be that. Go ahead.
For if any man be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in glass, where he beholds himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty.
The perfect law of what?
Of liberty.
In other words, in the spirit, because his words that he speak are spirit and life. In the spirit, there is no hindrance. Remember, we were just giving the analogy, and we were talking about how when the children abide by the rules of the home, they're free to access everything in the home. They're free to use the lights. They're free to get the food. They're free to use the water. Everything that when you're in the spirit, when you're abiding by the rules, you're free. But I'm not, my children are not worried about, listen, they're at a point in their life where they know they don't have to lie to dad now. They're not fearful they're not fearful of the consequences because they don't have the mindset to lie. If I ask a question, they tell me the truth. If I ask something, whether they did right or whether they did wrong, they're transparent. Why? Because the relationship has evolved. They're young adults now. They're not babies and fearful of consequences and being in trouble. Now they're adults and they're of the mindset that, listen, I know my father may fuss. I know my father may say this, that, and the third, but I'm not of the mindset that I'm living my life to not displease my father. I live my life within the realms, within the rules of understanding. So I'm free to do whatever it is that I do in my father's house because I'm in the rules. The earth is the Most High's and the fullness thereof. They that are in the spirit walk in the perfect law of liberty. Because when you're in the spirit, we understand that the fruit of the spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, meekness, gentleness, kindness, discipline, patience. He said, and I think it's in verse 24, 25. I think it's verse 24. He said, against these things, there is no law. If there be no law against these things, This is what the perfect law of liberty is talking about. I'm free to move. I'm free to do. I'm free to achieve. I'm free to express. That's the perfect law of liberty. Is there any more in that, young king? Yeah, go ahead and finish that.
Yes, sir.
Verse 25.
I'm gonna just start up from the top. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein.
And do what?
Continueth therein.
Stay in there. Go ahead.
He being not a forgetful hearer.
Don't let. Listen, the words were impactful. The lessons were impactful. Oh, they were timely. Don't let those lessons fade. Listen, when you in down moments, go back and listen to them. Chew the cud. Go regurgitate those things. Listen, there's some times when I'm in angst or times when I'm bored, things are just annoying or whatever. The TV not working. I'll go back and I'll pull up a lesson. Or I'll go back and I get in the scriptures. Pull the lessons up. Pull the hope, the edification up. Listen, that's shakah. That's spirit. That's life. Go get a drink, family. That's what they're there for. Why? Because when you get the vision of the Father, he said, according to Isaiah 26:3, what I keep those in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on me. Philippians 4 says what? Think on these things that are true, are lovely, of good report, if there be any praise. What is he saying? He's saying, thinking about me, family. Think about me. Listen, as a father, Joshua, as much as I'm a disciplinarian and as much as I try to be a provider in these things, one thing that I hope that I'm always going to be to my children is a safe place. What they mean by that? In other words, they know that if somebody's going to get to them, my wife is good for this. My wife, especially when me and my son are both with her, she talk a lot of trash or whatever. Why? Because she feels safe. She feel protected. She know as long as I'm around, nobody's going to just freely get to her. And they got to be pretty rough to get past me to get to her. My children feel that way. They're around their brother. There was an instance where my daughter, my son is the youngest. My oldest daughter, some dude was inappropriate with her at a food court. She came back. She got her brother, who was younger than her, got her brother, and the same dude that was inappropriate with her at the food court acted right. Why? Because he was around. My daughter's kids had problems in school back in the day. Guess what? They come, they tell their dad. Guess what dad is going to do? Dad is going to go to the school, go talk to whoever I need to talk to, because one thing I've always raised my kids within the realms of, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, kids, then now dad can go to school and advocate. So if you're not in class, if you're in class and you're being disrespectful, then you got a problem with me. But now if you're being respectful and the teachers are not respecting you, come and tell dad, because dad gonna do what? I'm gonna go meet the teacher. I'm gonna go meet the principal. I'm gonna go meet whoever it is that I need to meet. I'm gonna let them know I raise respectful kids, and I told my kids to treat you as they would treat me. So if now you step out of turn, I won't be coming up here to talk. I've literally said that, and you know what? My kids never had no more problems. Why? Because the bottom line is, as a dad, I should be in a liberty, or my children should be in liberty or safe space. Guess what? It's the same thing with the Most High. We live in a perfect law of liberty, not being a forgetful hearer, but a doer. We are now blessed. We are now in his protection. Don't forget. Don't let these words, these lessons, these revelations, the understanding that have come forth in this house, don't let those fade away. Don't let those go away. Naeem, give me 2 Corinthians 3:17-18.
Yes, sir. Do you want to finish off the last?
No, I just finished it. That's why I just went and told you go. I forgot I referenced it, so I just said, you know what? Yeah, let me just go ahead to the next one. Thank you, though. I did notice that I finished it.
You said 2 Corinthians. What was it?
3:17-18. We're talking about the relationship. We come in as children. We don't stay childish.
All right. 2 Corinthians verse 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18.
Yes, sir. 17 and 18.
Oh, okay. Now the Lord is that spirit.
Who is that spirit?
The Lord is that spirit.
The Most High is that spirit. Mm-hmm.
And where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
As long as we're in the spirit, I've said this, I'm just hammering this point home, there is liberty, there is freedom. Go ahead.
But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass of glory of the Lord, are changed into the
We're
same.
beholding the glass, in a glass, the glory of the Most High. In these vessels, we are beholding the glory of the Most High. We are what?
We are changed into the same image.
We are what?
Changed into that same image.
Listen, the glory of the Most High, the same glory that in John 17, Christ asked for to be crowned with the glory that he once had. He said, listen, that was lost in the garden, that glory, because people mix that scripture up in Isaiah and say, I will not share my glory with another. He's not talking about with his children. He's talking about idol worship. Go back and read that in context. When he says he will not share his glory with another, he's not talking about with his children. He's talking about idol worship. So the same glory that Christ asked the Father for in John 17, he also later in that verse asked that we share in that what? That same glory. Now we're reading here in 2 Corinthians 3, where Paul is getting an understanding that we shall be changed into the same image from what?
From glory to glory.
From what?
From glory to glory.
Naeem, who's going from glory to glory?
The spirit, you're saying, like, we're the believers, the worshipers of the Mashiach.
The who? Who say it like you know what you're talking about now.
The brethren of the Mashiach, the kings, the children. I'm sorry, the children of righteousness.
So that should include you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that includes us.
Yes,
we are changed from this into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Most High. Why? Because we're in the Spirit. So as the Father continues to reveal, as he continues to give revelation, it's not just good little words, family. It's not just a good teaching. It's not just a good lesson. This is life. This is growth. This is a change in relationship. The Father is saying, okay, you've experienced me at this level. Now I need you to step up into another area of glory, another area of victory. I need to fight to get to this next level. That's what glory is. That's what joy. He said, the joy of the Most High is my strength. Why? Because now I understand that if I serve the Father and I obey and I do what he says and I overcome, I now go into another area of glory. That brings the Father joy. Ain't nothing like seeing your kids get it. And nothing like seeing your kids succeed. Oh, that time when you could have went off, but you didn't. That time when you could have moved in hate, but you didn't. That time when you could have killed, but you didn't. That time when you could have sent the curse back, but you didn't. You said forgive. You said have mercy. You prayed for them instead of sending curses. You held your tongue instead of arguing with them. You blessed them instead of cursing them. That's what he's talking about, moving from glory to glory. That's what the king did on the cross. Every right to have us wiped out. But he said, Father, forgive them. That's from glory to glory. We're talking about a maturity in the spirit. We're talking about a growth in relationship. So we got to understand, as long as we obey the Father from the past, in the past, and now, it was always the intent of the Father to bring to present with us a greater revelation over time, to take us from faith to faith, take us from glory to glory. Remember, family, he said we are in his image and his likeness. What was the king's testimony at the time of the baptism? Or what was the testimony of the king at the time of the baptism? But the Father said to the king at the time he was baptized, this day I have begotten thee. In other words, the king was begotten that day when he was baptized. Why? Because he yielded himself to something that he necessarily didn't have to do in the eyes of those that were walking with him. But because he was so meek, so mild, he came as a servant. He allowed himself to be baptized by someone he should have been baptizing. Remember, Christ wasn't moving in sin. Christ wasn't walking with the mindset, don't let me commit adultery. Don't let me lie today. He was already about his father's business at age 12. So imagine what his mindset was by the time he was 30. If he was about his father's business at age 12, if he already had that understanding that I came here to serve and do the will of my father, what was he by the time he was 30? So now when he's stepping up to be baptized, he was already in John's mind past him. Like, listen, I should be being baptized by you. I need to be born again. I need that new life. Christ said, suffer to be so that all righteousness be fulfilled. So it wasn't wrong that Christ got baptized. It was a good thing that Christ got baptized because John's baptism was of the Most High too, because there was denoting a transition from repentance from dead works, from a sinful life, from a flawed life to a life of one to move in the temple, in the inner court. Not the holies of holies yet, but the inner court. So when John is saying to Christ, I need to be baptized by you, John is like, listen, I'm not practicing sin, but I haven't yet been born again. I haven't yet got that. I haven't yet got what you got. And Christ's like, suffer it to be so. So when the Father is seeing the humility of Yahushua, he's like, listen, this day I have begotten thee. And that was after he was filled with and after that he was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh. He was filled with the Spirit. Christ was filled with the Spirit. Why? Because he obeyed the word. So because he was so obedient with the word, the Spirit was able to fill him. That's what was happening. This also happened at the Mount of Transfiguration, where he said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. He was so pleased with Christ's walk. He showed what our bodies would be like after we are glorified, after we get that glorified body. That's what Peter, James, and John saw on the Mount of Transfiguration. That was the glow that was on the face of Moses when you talk about the veil that was over his face, which is also referenced in 2 Corinthians 3. That veil that was over his face, that was the glorified, or a glimpse at the glorified body that we are to have. We are to have that glorified body in the future. That's what the king was presented with at the Mount of Transfiguration. We're talking about the growth in the relationship where he received it as a child. He understood it at age 12. He received it as a child, but by the time he's 30, he really got it. The word says that he grew in wisdom through the things that he suffered. So he had to grow from the age 12 to the time he was 30, and he's ready to step into ministry because according to the Torah, you couldn't step into priesthood until you were what? Age 30. That's why even now when we're dealing with the young men, we tell them, come and serve. Be available. Be available. Why? You're not even, according to Torah, eligible to even teach till age 30. Don't be in a hurry to run out there. Don't be in a hurry to be in leadership. Learn how to follow. Learn at the feet of the leaders. Learn at the feet of the elders. Why? So now when it comes time for you to step out, you're stepping out in season. You're stepping out in timing. That doesn't mean that he can't use you now, but the eagerness to lead and to be a wonder, that's what happens with a lot of our young men. That's what happens with a lot of our young people. They haven't been tested. They haven't been tried yet. They haven't been matured yet in the spirit. They have to be tested. They have to move from doing childish stuff to moving and becoming a man. What? A man of the Most High. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. So when you talk about the Father, he said, this is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. He said, why was that the case? The case was because the king seen it in the word. He believed it and performed it unto the cross. He was in waiting for the Most High. He wasn't waiting for the Most High to tell him to do something he had already been gifted or empowered to do. You never see in scripture where the Father, only time that you see the king pray openly was when it came time for him to raise Lazarus. And he did that because the people wasn't believing. That's why the word says that he wept. He wasn't weeping because he was sad about Lazarus. He was sad at the fact that he's about to die. He's about to be offered up. And the people still are not seeing that he's showing them the Father. People are still not understanding that he's showing them the Father. And so when you look at the life of Christ, all through this time, he wasn't waiting for the Father to tell him, feed these people. He wasn't waiting for the Father to tell him to heal these eyes. He wasn't waiting for the Father to tell him to heal these ears. He was just doing it because he was already in the Spirit. He prayed openly so we would know. But he said, you always hear me. You always hear me. I'm already in relationship. And as long as I walk in relationship with you, I have the right to heal. I'm walking in your liberty, so I have the right to feed the hungry. I'm walking in your liberty, so I have the right to heal the cripple. I have the right. Why? Because I'm in your spirit. I don't need to ask your permission to do the right thing. I don't need to ask your permission to manifest your kingdom. I don't need to ask your permission to manifest your righteousness. This is the mindset or the temperament of the king, because he already understood and knew what he was powered to do. When we are in the Spirit, there is a prepared place, a place of righteousness, a place of blessing that follows you. The light comes on when you're in the room. The change happens when you're around. Remember, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. But if you lose your savor, what good are you? That's why we got to stay what? Connected to the Father. That's why we got to stay what? In the Spirit. That's why we have to stay obedient. He said, a place of blessing that follows you, that you may move in, that you may move in, because I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes and I messed that up. It's a place that a blessing that follows you. Why? Because you're moving in love. It's love that operates it. It's the love of the Most High. And not only that, but it's the love of your brothers and sisters. We see this from the beginning when the Most High said he was just saying to us, walk and step into dominion, your inheritance. And you see this from the beginning. When he created Adam, you see it manifested from the beginning. Walk in dominion, step into inheritance. Give me Genesis 2, chapter 2, 19 through 20. And there's a spot in Genesis 20. I want you to stop.
So, Genesis 2, chapter 19 through 20.
And part of 20. Yeah.
Okay. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field. And
so the Most High created the beast of the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And every fowl of the air.
Mm-hmm.
And brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever.
Time out. He did what?
He brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Who would call them?
Adam.
Was Adam in relationship with the Father?
Yes, sir.
Was he in the Spirit?
Yes, sir.
So there was a liberty that the Father gave Adam to see what he would call the animals. The Father didn't name the animals. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to bring it to my son. Let my son speak the purpose over these animals, the temperament over these animals. Name these animals. Go ahead.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature,
mm-hmm.
that was the name thereof.
Whatever he said it wasn't. Listen, he's in the Spirit. So he had the right by the Spirit to enjoy the liberty of naming these animals. Go ahead.
And Adam gave names to all cattle,
mm-hmm.
and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field.
Stop right there. When you understand this is the relationship that we are called to, as long as we're what? Obedient. Give me Exodus 23, verses 20 through 33.
Exodus 23, verses.
Yes, sir.
What's the verse one more time?
20 through 33. Exodus 23, 20 through 33.
Yes, sir. Exodus 23, verses 20 through 33.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I send an angel before thee.
Mm-hmm.
Keep thee in the way.
To do what?
To keep thee in the way.
The purpose of this angel was sent to keep us in the way. 23, Moray.
Shall I keep going?
Stop for a second. He's trying to get pull it up for everybody. Start at verse 20. 20 through 23. I mean 20 through 33. I'm sorry, 20 through 33. Exodus 20 through 33. Like it's just changing back. I know my computer does this sometimes too. He's gonna come back. Go ahead and with the word. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way.
Yes, sir.
And bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Beware of him and obey his voice.
Mm-hmm. Obey what?
Obey his voice.
Remember, it's not a word problem. It's a faith problem. Faith come by what? Hearing, and hearing by the word. Go ahead.
Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions.
He won't, because people talk about how the Most High is not forgiving. Listen, he said that this angel that's viewing this, he said he won't pardon your transgressions. That angel's there to deal with the enemies of the Most High. Anything that's against his word, he's going to deal with it. So if you're against the word, guess what happens? That angel that's present, that has his name, his word in him, he has permission from the Most High to judge it as such. And he said he will not pardon this. He said, love is the way. Yes, ma'am. Love is the way of the Father. Galatians 5:4. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Maturity in the spirit. Yes, ma'am. The life. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Naeem.
He will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice.
But if you do what?
If you indeed obey his voice.
Go ahead.
And do all that I speak. Then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies.
Remember, we've been teaching this for a while now. The Most High don't have enemies. He don't have enemies. The only time that he ever has an enemy is when we're walking in obedience to his word. He says, I will be what, Naeem?
An enemy unto you.
And an enemy unto who?
And if we're in disobedience to his word.
No, if we're obedient to the Most High, he'll be enemy unto who?
Unto thine enemies.
And what?
And an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Keep going.
For mine angel shall go before thee. And bring thee in unto the Amorites. And the Hittites. And the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
So it was already the will of the Father for them to be cut off. This is important, because I did all that groundwork earlier to really lay down this premise that we're about to get into. It was the will of the Father for them to be cut off. Remember, where the Spirit of the Most High is, there's liberty. As long as he said we obey or hearken to his voice, we are under his shelter, we're under his protection. And he said our enemies will be his enemies, our adversaries will be his adversaries. Go ahead, Naeem.
Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, or serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images.
Yes, sir.
And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water. And I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
Yes, sir.
There shall nothing cast thee down, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill.
Yes, sir.
I will send my fear before thee.
He will send what?
My fear before thee.
That's one of the characters of the Spirit. Fear. When we look at Isaiah 11:2, fear is one of the spirits of the Most High. He said, I will send my fear before thee. Now, that fear that goes before is to comfort us as long as we obey in reverence. But to our enemies, it causes trembling, despair to those that are not in his will, that are not in his shelter. He said, I will send my fear before thee. Go ahead.
And will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee.
And run. All your enemies will flee before you. Go ahead.
And I will send hornets before thee. Shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, the Hittite from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the field multiply against thee.
Yes, sir.
By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, till thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me.
Stay in the spirit. Go ahead.
For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee.
Is that verse 33?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me Joshua 5, 10 through 12. And believe it or not, family, I know I've been a while. I'm almost done. Give me Joshua 5, 10 through 12. I want you to see this, family.
Joshua 5, 10 through 12. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal.
Stop for a second. Let me lay a little groundwork. Remember, that commandment that his fear will go before us, that he will be an enemy to our enemies as long as we obey him, hearken unto his voice. Time has passed. The old generation that heard this word passed. We have a new generation along with Joshua and Caleb that are stepping up to the plate now. Moses has passed away. Now what happens is, now the Father has brought the ancestors across the Jordan. The reason why this is important is because I want you to see the shift in relationship. Remember, he said, receive the kingdom of heaven as a child, as little children. But it was never his intent for us to stay little children. There comes a time when we are in the spirit, we now are free to walk in his will within his realms. There is liberty. Listen, there is much parameters for us to be successful as we want to be in the spirit. Go ahead, give me Joshua 5, 10 through 12. Peep this, family.
And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month. At evening, they kept the Passover.
So we're giving a memorial to the Father. We're keeping the Passover. Now, mind you, the Passover is being kept. What accompanies the Passover? Read on, Naeem.
At even the plains of Jericho. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow.
They did what?
They did eat of the old corn of the land.
They did eat of the old corn. So they crossed the Jordan. And as they kept the Passover, this is the first land or the first fruit of that land that the Father had promised us. The word says that they did what? They did eat of the old corn or the old produce of that land. Go ahead.
On the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the self same day. And the manna ceased on the morrow.
And the what?
The manna ceased.
The manna that started in Exodus 16, the word says that the manna ceased on the morrow. In other words, they matured in understanding. They matured in relationship. They've gotten to a place that when we talk about the manna, we talk about the bread that came from heaven. Listen, there's no more word. There's no new word. There's no more revelation. It's now you walk it out by faith. You obey him. I'm not going to treat you like you're a child anymore. I'm not going to give you milk anymore. Now you are made in my likeness and image. You are my sons and daughters. The manna is going to cease. That doesn't mean he's not going to have a relationship with us anymore. Now what he's saying to us, because now you're able to go out because you receive my engrafted word. You're able to go out because now you reflect my likeness and image. You're able to go out because now you understand my ways. You understand that you are an heir. You are a joint heir through Christ. You're able to go out. He said, now what the manna has what, Naeem?
Ceased.
ceased. Go ahead. Finish that.
And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land.
You're not able to go out.
Neither had the children of Israel.
You're not able to go out and manifest my will. My will for you was to operate as freely as you want in this land. Go ahead, young king.
Neither had the children of Israel manna anymore.
Now
But
the
they
children
did
what?
manna anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year.
Mm-hmm. That's verse 12.
Yes, sir.
Give me Joshua 18, 1 through 7. They did eat of the first fruit of the land of Canaan. That was the first meal they had on their own, quote unquote, on their own. They are now stepping in maturity, spiritual maturity, adulthood in the spirit. Go ahead. You got that 18? Pay attention to this, family. Pay attention to this, because we're talking about there's no need for more word. What we're talking about now is now we're moving into an area of maturity, because you know what you're supposed to do. You know what you've been gifted to do. You know what you're talented to do. This is the expectation now. Go ahead, Naeem.
Joshua 18, verses 1 through 7.
Yes, sir.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh, set up the tabernacle of the congregation there. And the land was subdued before them.
The land was what?
Subdued.
The Father kept his promises. He sent the hornets. He sent his angel before us. He said that the land was subdued before them. Go ahead.
And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes.
7 tribes.
Which had not yet received their inheritance.
But this 7 tribes did not receive their inheritance. I want you to pay attention to this, family, because this 7 tribes that didn't receive their inheritance, they didn't have the right mindset. Go ahead, young king.
And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, How long are ye slack to go to possess the land?
How long are what?
Are ye slack?
Are you slack? Why are we at ease in Zion? Why are we sitting here waiting for the Father to do for us what He already empowered us to do? He said, why are you slack? How long will you slack to go possess the land? What are you waiting for? Faith come by what? Hearing? Hearing by the word. Because I heard the word, I now do. That's what James was talking about when he said, it's not the hearers of the word, but it's the doers of the word. Why are we slack concerning the promises? Why are we apprehensive? So what? They are saying this in the media. So what? They're saying that in the media. So what? They put this kind of imagery out about us. So what? What does the word say? What does the word say? It said, ye are the head, not the tail. You are above only and not beneath. You are the lenders and not the borrower. That's what the word says. Who are we going to believe? He said, why are we slack concerning the inheritance? Go ahead.
Which the Lord God of your father hath given unto you.
He already given it. It's past tense. He already had given it unto us. Listen, the moment he scattered us, he had given it to us. Everywhere we're in the Abrahamic covenant, everywhere that the soles of our feet tread, as long as we're in the Father, he said, I've given it to you. Go ahead.
Give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them, and they shall arise and go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them. And they shall come again to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Judah shall abide in their coast on the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in their coast on the north. Ye shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. But the Levites have no part among you. The priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad and Reuben and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance beyond Jordan on the east.
Yes, sir.
Which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them.
So they already have it. The work is already done. We just got to walk it out. The freedom, the liberty is there. Listen, the problem is not more word. The problem is faith. Being faithful hearers, being faithful doers. How do I know you're moving in faith? By what you do. That's why Abraham was counted as the friend of the Most High, because when the Most High told him to go sacrifice his son, he went and he did it. What is Noah counted faithful for? Listen, the Most High told him to build an ark. He built the ark. He built the ark. He never experienced rain. He never seen rain. He just heard the word and he did it. That's what faith is. I hear what the Father say and I do it. He said, why are you slack concerning your inheritance? Why are you slack concerning your talents? Listen, every good and perfect gift come from above. Who is the good and perfect gift? Christ and Christ in you. That's why he says what? The gifts and callings on your life are without what? Repentance. So there's an expectation. You're claiming redemption. You're claiming to be a child of the Most High. There's an expectation that based on the requisite talents, the abilities, the giftings that he's given you, he's expecting a return. He's expecting a reflection. He's expecting us to look and move like him. So he's not going to tell you to do what you already are capable of doing. He's expecting you to do it. What you give that, like my son, he's an artist. So as his father, I don't have to tell him to draw. He does it. And so because he has that talent, because he has that gift, it's going to do what? Create opportunity. It's going to do what? Make room for him. My niece, Brianna, she did her cousin's hair yesterday. Beautiful job. Well, you have that gift. You have that talent. If you have a gift, you have a talent, use it to the glory of the Most High. Why? Because it's going to do what? Make room for you. If you don't believe me, Naeem, give me Proverbs 18:16. About to prove it.
Yes, sir.
Remember, where his spirit is, there is living. As a son and a daughter of the Most High, there's just some things that by faith, we just going to have to stretch out and do. Business, do. Movement, do. Plant gardens, do. Build houses, do this thing. If you are knowingly gifted and talented in the area, don't fret what they're taking away. Don't fret the government changes and the things that they're doing. Know what he put in you. It's his light, it's his spirit. He said, the gifts and callings that I gave you, they were without repentance. Just do it. You're in me, children. Do it. The earth is mine and the fullness thereof. Enjoy. Go into the refrigerators. Eat. Go into the bathroom freely. Use the water. Flick the lights on and off. Use the Wi-Fi. Watch the television. Do it, family. You're in the relationship. Do it. Give me that verse.
Yes, sir. Proverbs 18, verse 16. A man's gift maketh room for him.
His man's gift do what?
It maketh room for him.
Your gift makes room for you. I'm not saying make your gift your God, your natural talent, your God. If you could sing, sing to the glory of the Most High. If you can, my son can draw to the glory of the Most High. Whatever you're naturally gifted at and talented to do it unto the glory of the Most High. Finish that verse.
And bringeth him before great men.
It's going to create opportunity for you. Give me, and this is my last verse and I'll be done. The last passages I'll be done. Luke 17, 20 through 21. Luke 17, 20 through 21. Excuse me.
Luke 17, verses 20 through 21.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation.
It does what?
It comes not with observation.
In other words, not for me to be sitting back looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. For
We
behold,
looking everywhere else for the kingdom. It's not going to come through the U.S. government. It's not going to come through the UN. It's not going to come through BRICS or whoever. It's not going to come through nowhere else. How is this going to happen, Naeem?
for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
It's in who?
It's in you. It's within the
We
church.
have this treasure in earthen vessels. That's why he said, greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. We already have it, family. Go ahead, finish that.
That is Luke 21.
Okay. Listen, the problem is not more word. You can get revelation until you're regurgitating it, full with it. But that word that we hear, we are accountable to that because he's calling us from glory to glory, faith to faith. I want to encourage you all in this time, in this season, whatever requisite businesses you want to start, ideas you have, as long as you are obedient to the Father, you are free to do and achieve. I was talking to my sister last night, and we were talking about black communities that were started in the past and how they destroyed them. Some random chick of another nation would get assaulted, allegedly, and they would go and find a reason to tear down, to bomb, to destroy it. And so, what I was explaining to my sister last night is those communities were under other influences. And what I mean by that is when you look and you examine like the leadership in those communities, they were Freemasons, they were in Greek organizations, they they were Muslims, they had all kinds of ideologies. The difference between us and them is we just read it in Exodus 23. He said, if you hearken unto my word, your enemies will be my enemies, your adversaries will be my adversaries. In other words, when we unite under the banner of this Torah, we unite under the banner of the Ruach HaKodesh, under the Most High. He is Yahweh of hosts, or the Lord of hosts. He is Jehovah Nisi, our banner. He is our protection. And so what will make us different in this time, one, because we do have a different mindset, but two is despite all the military advances and all the organization and all the plots and scheming that are going on around us, according to the Spirit, he said, my name is a strong tower. And they that run in are safe. He said that the traps, the snares will not come nigh us because we have made him our shelter. We have trusted in him. I'm telling you, if we commit to the action of building our nation, building our community under the banner of the Most High, creation will fight for us. The Spirit will fight for us. He will fight for us. That's not to say he didn't fight for the apostles back in the day. Those things had to happen that his will may be accomplished. When you talk about them being scattered to the four corners, etc., that his will may be accomplished. Now we are in a season where we're called now to understand the need to manifest his kingdom, to manifest his righteousness. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it for us. It's in us to grow up and seize the inheritance. The question was asked in Joshua, why are we slack? Why are we waiting on more word? Or why are we waiting on... No, it's not more word that's needed. It's more faith. We trust the Father. Let's go do what he said do. Let's stop fighting each other long enough. I'm not saying here in Chase this more to Israel than anything. But let's stop fighting long enough. Let's stop doubting ourselves long enough to step out and use the gifts and talents that he gave us to build the community. With that being said, I thank my young brother Naeem for reading, for putting up with me, interrupting him. Thank you, young king. And I thank you all for fellowshipping with us this afternoon. We'll go ahead and put the link in the chat if there's further questions, if there's further input, if there's further clarity is needed. With that being said, I see my brother Suka in the background. I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to add, big brother. Oh, I put him down. My fault.
No, bro, you good, bro. Great lesson. I appreciate it.
All praises. Moray, is there anything? I know you in the shadows. Anything? He put the link in the chat. Nothing I perceive from Moray. That being said, Naeem, Young King, anything you want to add?
Oh, much I want to add.
Go ahead.
This might be of every lesson I've ever heard you preach. This may have been my favorite lesson.
All praises.
I think this lesson, from beginning to end, was absolutely perfect. It began with establishing that need of the relationship, right? That need of, there's a difference between knowing all the rules, knowing all the scriptures, knowing, and actually moving in the relationship of the Most High. And you express that in the form of, you might know all these laws, you might know these acts, but if you don't know his ways, you're still a babe. You're still on that milk. And then you move. The reason we need to go into this relationship is because this is what the Father wants to do with us. If we start operating on that faith, operating on the doing, not just hearing it, but operating on the doing based off the word we know, then he'll be an enemy for our enemies. Then we can, the promise that was given to us in Genesis, we can operate on that, right? Where he gave everything into our dominion. So I think everything about this lesson was absolutely amazing. And I think a long time ago, and this is what I was thinking as you were preaching, a long time ago, before we even came on YouTube, when we were still doing Google Meets, Moray had said, it's possible that even those under the sound of my voice may not enter the kingdom. And I truly believe that this lesson right here is that dividing line, where you're going from just knowing everything to actually being in that relationship and operating on understanding the Father and his ways and moving, loving him, as opposed to moving off of knowing all the rules and all the thises and all of that. So I thought the lesson was absolutely perfect. I've learned much from it. We'll re-listen to it, and thank you for your obedience.
All praises. Good stuff, Moray. With that being said, if there be no, I don't see anyone from the chat. It says, Sister Deborah said, "Do life." Okay, she talked. Oh, do life. Our precious sister Mickey used to say, "Blessed of encouragement and admonition." Oh, all praises. Thank you. All praises with that. Thank you all for joining us. Let me go to our numbers. I know every now and then we forget this, but we got to go back to number 6. Chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Most High bless thee and keep thee, and the Most High shall make his face, or his glory, to shine upon thee, and be precious unto thee. The Most High lift up his countenance, his glory, upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. That being said, we love you all. Next week, I think we have a very packed week. Next week we have, of course, Bible study. I don't know if we're gonna okay, please, family. Now, last week we didn't do Bible study because a lot of people missed it. We wanted to teach that lesson on Melchizedek, but we wanted more people to be there to interact on it. I don't know if that's what we're still teaching. We'll talk about it, but it's a great likelihood that we're going to finish the lesson on Melchizedek. I would encourage you all. I know that you guys are used to getting the YouTube alerts, but please, if you can remember, family, remember this. We're on Google Meet through the chasersoftheway.com link. Please join us there for the Bible study. We would hate to move on with that because a lot of times it's not as easily accessible as YouTube is, where you can go and you get to YouTube and you can click it later. It may be that we may have to revisit that, and we'll notify you if that changes. We'll talk amongst the brethren and kind of see. We may just have to do that one on YouTube because we already did part 1 on YouTube. We may just have to maybe just come out and shift the focus and actually do that on YouTube. So that way, if you're not able to make it, we can still do the lesson on Melchizedek, and you guys can see the understanding that we may have on Melchizedek and learn from where we what we understand that to mean, those chapters to mean. Also, my big brother Suka, the One Flesh podcast. Join us. We talk real things when it comes to marriage and relationships. I think the last one we talked about was so powerful, where you talk about the fact that the need for counsel before you get married, because a lot of times we're talking about what the Most High put together, and we are bringing a lot of junk into our marriages because we didn't deal with these matters before we said I do. And so we are bringing a lot of contamination into the marriages. So, with that being said, we have the One Flesh podcast. I will be joining as support to my big brother Suka, who will be bringing that, and that's very important. I like what the brother is bringing up, what the brother is teaching. There's some things that I've learned from as far as mistakes I made. We be very transparent with that, and the goal is for there to be healing, because you can't build community without family. You can't have family without man and woman. Can't do it. Can't do it. Time out for all these broken homes in Israel. Time out for all these divided houses in Israel. It's time for us to start building. Got to be in the spirit. And so we got to clean out and flush out the mess that's in our marriages in order to walk in there. I don't know if you want to say anything to that, big brother. If you do, come up on stage, unmute, and speak on it. But we have the One Flesh podcast on Wednesday at 7:30. Bible studies at 7:30. The One Flesh podcast is Wednesday at 7:30. Last week, we were supposed to have the Young and the Fearless, but because of the topic that they want to talk about and availability that some of the people who wanted to actually be on the stage talking about that issue were not available. Maybe they'll be available that week, but keep your eyes and ears out, because we're talking about mental health. We're going to talk about mental health, depression, and things of that nature. That's going to be, to me, a very powerful topic. I can't wait to see what the young people bring out concerning that, with the transparency, the honesty. So we're going to deal with the spirit of heaviness. We're going to deal with depression. We talked about it. Even I know I talked about it with my kids. I know that these are matters and issues that we all deal with in our families. Sometimes it skip a generation, sometimes it don't. But the bottom line is, when you talk about heaviness and depression, some form of mental health, we deal with that. So the young people want to tackle that issue. I'm excited to see where we go with that. So keep your eyes and ears out. It's a possibility. It could happen this week, but if it don't, please know that they're in the works of trying to get that accomplished. It's just a matter of getting the other moving pieces, the people who are available, work schedules, and things of that nature together. But that could be potentially this week. Also, I know last week we didn't. Yesterday we did not get to do taking a deeper look. There was a matter that we had to attend to last night, but taking a deeper look until further notice, we will have taken a deeper look at 7:30 on this coming Friday. Please be available, and of course, Shabbat class again next week at noon. I hope I've done every announcement. There were a couple things that already talked about a couple weeks ago. Oh, we want to have our gathering, our first annual gathering, and so we want to make sure that that you all are available with that. We want everybody to come, and so I hope that those that are under my sound of my voice keep that in mind. We want to try to find a good time of the year to have this. So please be in communication with us, with each other. Go on the website. We might have to even start a category in the website as far as when would be a good time for everybody to try to come around and be here. Okay. Said Amore said there was an email that was sent out. Please fill it out. Best time of the year, or a good time of the year that works for everybody. We really want everybody that is part of the family, the Mishpachah, Chasers family, to come. Even if you don't consider yourself Chasers family, but you're under the sound of my voice and you want to come out and kick it with the family, come, because we're really trying to contribute resources to this to get all of us out here to be able to fellowship with one another. So I think I kind of hit a lot of announcements, the major announcements. So we got a busy week this week. but also keep in mind a long-term goal. And there's some other things that we're talking about behind closed doors that we want to present to you all here in the near future, because there's some strong desires as far as we go of wanting to build community for chasers. And I'm not talking about community as in other communities that you may know of out there. And what I mean by that, if anybody's aware, I'm not even trying to throw no strays out there. If you know other, I would say, of another community that is very prominent in this area that they got issues, that ain't the kind of community that we talking about. There's some things that that community do that we don't see in the scripture. If you know who I'm talking about, you know. If not, ask me on the side and I tell you about it. There's just some things that that community is doing that I don't see in the book. Me and my brothers, we talk about it. We don't see it in the book, and I consistently follow it because I want to make sure that I'm aware between me and Moray and Suka that nothing comes between us. And so we talk about this behind closed doors when we talk about our relationship with one another, because we don't want to be divided, and then we don't want to cause any issue with you or lay a stumbling block before you. So we are real cognizant when we see stuff when it talks about relationships in Israel and things that are not presented in the correct way that the king said do, and people are moving against what he said. That's something that we vehemently go and we counsel with, and we check ourselves to make sure that we stay in one step and lock and step with each other, because the last thing we want to do is be a reason why you all fall because we didn't do what we were supposed to do and obey this word and love one another, love the Most High, and love you. So with that being said, we love you, family. Again, thank my young king Naeem. Tell your wife I said hello. Uncle Sean loves her. That being said, we love you. Shalom, family. Shalom.